They got one of the best restaurants.
Wanted to get your hands dirty and see the whole process.
Wait, is this Taste of the Tavern?
Taste of the Tavern podcast, first episode of 2022. I'm Ben Hutchison alongside Executive Chef Dan Casey and Director of Food and Beverage Jimmy Kokless.
Hello.
Hello, Ben.
Does
Hello,
2022 feel any different than 2021 for you guys?
No, feels the same.
Everything going well? Jimmy, happy?
I don't know if it feels the same. It feels amped up, if that makes sense. Like, I feel amped up because I feel like we had a really good 21. We did a lot of cool things. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the momentum started to, like, start as we got close to the holidays. And now we're out of the holidays, and I just want to keep going.
I feel like January didn't really exist. It just kind of went through
I agree with you.
really fast.
Agree with you.
Yeah, business-wise, just cruising. It was like Halloween, and now it's almost Valentine's Day. It's crazy.
Well, January doesn't really have, after New Year's, the celebrations that November and December have, so it's totally different than the previous months.
No, people go hard for 2.5 months, and then it's kind of like dead stop. So it's reset mode for a lot of people. Credit card bills coming in, and, you know.
But you're having fun over there, Chef. You're actually coming off a vacation, a little break, which you don't do much.
Yep. The family and I went to Wisconsin Dells for the weekend. It was excellent. It was so good.
Favorite part?
Kids riding water slides for the first time, seeing that experience, experiencing that experience behind a very scared child was fantastic. I even watched my boy pee his pants in line and still went on the water slide.
He was committed.
He was. It was too late to go back down.
Isn't it?
Those stairs are the worst part for me, like the heights. But
You're 14 stories up where you're not going back down.
it was crazy.
Everybody's going to look at you.
All this rotten, shredded wood like on the stairs, and you're just like, oh, God, we're just going to die in line here. But apparently they don't make a business of killing people in resorts.
That's true. But you were able to actually ride the slides with them? They let 2 people go at one time?
Yeah, there was 3 slides that were family friendly, and 1 slide that we probably shouldn't have went down because it was like really intense. But we're all still here.
You made it back. It's good to see you. And Jimmy, you've just been plugging away. I mean, we've been having events over at the Golf Dome. And so, I mean, just us as different properties, we've stayed busy.
We have. That's what we do best. We don't let ourselves get bored. I think it's super important. It's what our culture is based off of. Just doing events and coming up with things and staying relevant and staying active. That's the biggest piece. People
always ask me, like, you work at a golf course. I'm like, well, I work at a golf course, but we have a restaurant, then we have a golf dome, and then we have a sports bar. So we're a year-round operation. I mean, there are some golf courses that I know the assistant golf pros kind of go to Florida for 4 months and things just shut down, but we are so much more than all of that. Mm-hmm. One example is we have a big Valentine's Day back-to-back event coming up.
We do. It's daddy-daughter dance night, and I'm super excited. I'm not going to lie. Probably wasn't as excited. I don't have kids, so I can't feel what the dads feel. However, I'm super stoked. I think the kids are going to have a fantastic time. I think the dads are going to have a fantastic time. And, I don't think it's going to be about the food or anything. I think it's just going to be about the all-around experience.
And this is something a little different than we did in past years. We wanted a little bit more, action or activity, a little interaction.
Yeah. In years past, we've done sit-down dining room-style dinners. You get your table in the dining room. You go through the motions. Everybody takes a picture. They're happy. And then this year, I think we were just like, let's make it fun. Let's make it crazy. Let's make it prom for 12-year-olds.
Yep.
Is your daughter going to come by, Chef?
She is not going to come to this. She doesn't like me. I'm not cool anymore. But no, I think just the large groups of people she has trouble with. She's sort of like shy and anxious. But man, I tell you, like when we plan these events, they don't really set in. And the first night of it is tonight. And I think when everybody walks in tonight is when you really, really get the sense of the event and how cool it is. And I'm pretty jacked up about it.
You guys have dance parties at your house, though.
Oh, yeah. Privately, we're crazy people, the Casey family. But in public, we hold it together.
Does your wife hold everything else together though? Like the craziness, she
Yeah.
like reins it in.
Yep.
Okay.
I got some videotapes of her, getting loose. She's crazy. She'll let loose with the rest of us.
I think TMZ's trying to obtain those videos.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that on the air.
No, it's going to be a ton of fun. We're looking forward to it. But I guess from a kitchen standpoint, whether it's you or Chef Ben on the banquet side, how do you come up with a menu for these types of bigger events that aren't exactly banquets?
Yeah, I think we want to, put our best foot forward and miss with style is sort of, show off and go big. But at the same time, I mean, kids like what they like. So macaroni and cheese is on the menu, but why not serve it in an 80-pound wheel of Parmesan? And then our steamship round, which is a large carving station piece of beef, that is just a showstopper. And, a couple surprises along the way, but definitely quality first, have fun, those little nostalgic things that everybody loves, and not try and make it too fancy or frilly. Let the event speak for itself.
All right, so for this episode, I wanted to get you guys back in the studio to discuss 12 food trends to look out for in 2022, according to Delish.com, something I stumbled upon on the old World Wide Web. So the first one, and I just want to talk about it and say what you kind of expect, or if it could happen, if it couldn't happen, or if you've never heard of it, or that's completely crazy. Why would that happen in 2022? So first one is non-alcoholic beverages. Do you see those in the restaurant a lot?
I do, wholeheartedly. We're getting a lot of requests for, I don't want to say skinny cocktails, right? That trend is long gone and still around. But yes, for non-alcoholic, tasty treats in a cup. That's what people are looking for. And I think it is one that is going to amp up as we get into warmer months.
For me, usually there's a lot of sugar in those types of things, so I kind of avoid them as is. But that's the first trend. Let's go number 2 now. This one's probably more for Chef. Sunflower butter.
Interesting.
They talk about the alternatives like cashew butter, almond butter. One substitute they say that is staking a claim these days within the world of ice cream, I guess, is Ben & Jerry's had a sunflower seed butter change the world in milk and cookies. So they've been using it, I guess. Would you consider or know anything about sunflower butter?
I don't know anything about sunflower butter. I know about the other nut and seed butters, but yeah, I think the way when you see, almond milk, soy milk, all of these different substitutions, what we're doing is basically, they say there's a problem with greenhouse gas with cows. So when you have dairy cows, you're getting the same situation. So we're basically looking for substitutions in plant-based form. Plant-based is not going away.
All right, and the next one, this is a talker and people know all about it. Smaller menus because of mainly supply chain issues, general pandemic madness, as they put it. A lot more places going to a smaller, more concentrated, focused menu.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did do it ourselves a little bit. We shaved off a little bit during the pandemic times and then just sort of kept it at that length, I guess. But yeah, it's tough to get stuff, and you know what your best sellers are. Why not play your greatest hits all the time and then mix in a few here and there?
Yeah, with vendors, I think we did a good job. Unknowingly at the time when we did it, we shaved the menu down for this reason, right? Because we couldn't get certain things. But on the flip side, we saw our ticket times go down. And in the world of restaurants, you live and die by your ticket time. You want great quality hot food or cold food to go out at a decent time, so you can turn those tables and maximize your revenue potential, as every restaurant would love to do. And that's what we saw with our menu shrink.
It's also freshness. I mean, if you go to a place with 100 things on their menu, I doubt that they're all doing each of them beautifully. If you go to a restaurant that has 10 to 20 things, everything is getting cycled through, used quickly, keeping it nice and fresh.
For the next one, you kind of jumped ahead and saw it coming. Plant-based everything.
Yeah,
Plant-based everything. They talk about the Beyond Meat and the Impossible Burger, Impossible Foods, and then discusses the fact that there was an uncanny salmon and tuna sashimi. So those versions of vegan bacon TikTok by Gordon Ramsay came out. For me, I love meat. I love burgers. I love all of that. I've tried the other ones. for me, I can tell. And I think, they're obviously trying to make it like it, but you can't replace the real thing, whether that's good or bad. I just feel like you can't for what I like to eat.
I feel like if it's close enough, and the point of, I'm just using the Impossible Burger as an example because we serve it on our menu, and I think it's great, and I think we put it on our menu because we thought it was great, and I don't think we would have put it on the menu if it wasn't good. I think if you eat that next to a burger, yes, you can definitely tell which one is beef, but I think it's close enough to be satisfied by a burger, and if it's doing what they say it's doing for our environment in the long term, then, that's the way.
I agree. I think the Impossible is the best choice out there at the moment. They're doing it right. They're capturing the flavor of beef. They're capturing the flavor of sausage and all these cool new things that they're starting to distribute and release. And like Chef said, it's very close to the real thing.
We were at the NRA show, it had to have been over 2 years ago, and we tried a couple of the sashimis, the tunas and the salmons, and I think they were made from like dehydrated tomatoes or something. And honestly, it was all still so new that I thought they were all a failure. And I thought the Beyond Burger and the Impossible Burger were there. It seemed established already, and the flavors were good. And I think all of these others were still working themselves out. And I haven't tried anything in that realm recently, but be curious to see where it goes.
And for clarification, I think that's the National Restaurant Association show, not
not Rifles,
not the other one, less tasty. But yeah, the next one is potato milk. I guess it's a new non-dairy milk made from boiled potatoes and the water they're cooked in. And allegedly, it gained some traction in 2021 and popular in Europe and China.
Yeah, I'm not an advocate of any milk other than cow milk. I think if you want milk, why wouldn't you just drink milk? I could see the health benefits of all of the other ones, but I don't drink a ton of milk myself, but if I wanted in my coffee, I'd just use regular milk or cream. Like if you're going to put dairy in your coffee, why not just do it?
I don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Potato
milk?
Potato milk to me just sounds like starch water. Like what are you going to boil pasta next and call it pasta milk? Like it's not truly milk. But
we're going to wipe that one off the list. Next one, this is interesting because I've seen pictures or videos. More robot servers.
I'm not going to lie. I have been reading a lot of things about this the last probably 6 months. I'm very interested in technology. I love technology. I think it's great. I think it can do really good things. I don't know how it's going to service the restaurant industry in that sense, unless you are, some sort of fast casual or fast food restaurant, with kiosks. The kiosks have been around for many, many years. McDonald's put them out. They do what they were supposed to do. In our world, more of a full service restaurant world, I don't know where that falls in, but trust me, I've been hammering articles and trying to figure it out because it's why not Mistwood, right? We do everything else. Why not try and figure out the situation? And not to replace our servers, because our service team is what makes our property, right? We talk about this all the time. I think it's to enhance the experience in some way, shape, or form.
Well, they even discuss bus bots, delivery drivers, butcher bots, a little help in the kitchen.
I can't remember the name of the program, but David Chang on Hulu, there was a program where they basically show the future of food and all of these different AI scenarios. And the third-party delivery services were really interesting, where you're just putting the food inside of a robot and then it's driving to an office building and just like having the coffee right there or sandwich or whatever. And yeah, I definitely think that's going to be the first side of it that we see is these bots driving around or flying around, or there was drones doing all kinds of crazy things. But I think that'll be the first step of it. But yeah, something like replacing a server with a robot necessarily, I don't think can happen. And even replacing a chef necessarily, there's sort of can the robot tell quality and all of these different things? Is it just going to grab a steak that's rotten and throw it on the grill? I don't know. You're going to have somebody looking at a robot eventually and supervising a robot. But yeah, the technology's moving quick. It'd be interesting to see where it goes.
It's funny you mentioned drones because Michael Jordan's golf course does instead of beverage carts, they have drones. You order your beer for your round and a drone brings it to you. And again, that's something we looked into last year when we read this article and it came out. So that's where I see technology happening in those instances, right? Adding a supplement to your server, right? Specifically beverage cart. We have 2 beverage carts. They're limited to where they can go, how fast they can go based on how fast a foursome is playing. So having a supplemental electronic robot that's quiet, right, delivering to holes that the girls can't get to is how I would want to use the technology if we were capable of getting it.
Yeah, and like you said, everything here is so much about the experience, the personal side of it, those special moments, and it would be so hard to replicate the full experience with a robot, like you said. But it's crazy to think about.
Here, if somebody can figure out how to put like a Kristen Goffinet's face on the box, on an LED screen, and the bot pulls up and it's Kristen, right, and smiling and hey, welcome to Milk Weather's Tavern, I would look into it.
But at the same time, we keep Kristen, so now we have 2 of them.
Yes,
and she gets tips from both. So
absolutely,
cloning is clone.
We're gonna clone our servers.
Yeah, how many times has she been? She's been asked for at the host stand, and her station's full. So this combats that.
She has too many tables right now. The next one, which we have seen at places, is ghost kitchens. What do you guys just, I guess, in general, think of ghost kitchens?
I sent an article to the chef, I don't know, 5-6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Yeah.
Right? I read the article. I think it's cool for somebody that wants to try something new, right? So, I don't know, let's use an Italian restaurant, for example. Right, if they're getting hammered and the burger guy down the street is just taking away their business, they can use the ghost kitchen model to create a burger restaurant within the restaurant. So they're getting the best of both worlds. And it's one thing that I was looking at because through 2020 when we were closed and we were doing a lot of carry out, we came up with a lot of cool ideas of things that we would never be able to do based on the look feel of our menu. One of those being like our version of the sliders. That being said, that's why I threw it at the chef. But, with banquets and the volume of banquets we have and the restaurant just being busier than ever, thank God, I don't know if it's doable for our property.
Because it's your people just making something else, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Within your kitchen, but you have a different brand, a different name. So chef, I guess, asking you, not things we would do, but what types of foods do you enjoy making, just in general? Like what would be a crazy idea compared to what we usually do?
Well, honestly, I think the ghost kitchens are kind of a cop-out because if you have an idea and then you're just going to go off and do it somewhere else and not market it or have it be part of your brand, you're just like putting yourself out there, and then if you fail, it does nothing. Whereas if I serve something that's crap in the restaurant, I mean, we're representing our brand and we're taking the fault for the brand. So it's like you're not owning it. Is kind of how I feel with the ghost kitchen. If I want to do something, if one of the chefs here wants to do something, then we're putting our neck out, we're doing it, we're taking responsibility for it, and we're representing the tavern. We're not just going to go hide in some office building and then just nobody knows who did that or where it came from.
That's a good point because in the last 3 weeks, there was a restaurant, which I enjoy. I enjoy the restaurant. They have a ghost kitchen. They make wings. If you find it, you find it. But you could tell they're just the same wings from the restaurant, but they weren't, sauced to where they should be and everything like that. So now, I know where you get them because you pick them up at the actual restaurant, but it was disappointing. So like you said, you're kind of hiding behind it. If they think it's just that and you're doing a third-party order, they'll think it's coming from this restaurant with that name. But if you pick it up there, you're like, wait, these are your wings and they're not very good. So I guess for some degree you can mask it and you're just this name on a, third-party app.
Yeah,
you'd be shocked to realize and understand. I think the average person doesn't know that. The example that you just gave.
Oh, I believe it.
I think somebody thinks, like you just said, somebody thinks that there's a restaurant called, Bobby Sue's, Wing Shack, and it's a brick and mortar, and that's where they're getting their wings from. And in actuality, they're getting them from Panera Bread, right?
Yeah.
For example. yeah, I think the average person does not know that.
And you look at the Google Maps and it shows up as an address. And if it's not Google Earth, you're not going to know what that building actually is. It looks like, oh, it's in that strip mall over there. Not true. Not true. All right, next one on the list is mushrooms. They say with the plant-based trend, more people looking for healthy meat replacements. Long-standing vegetarians and vegans have this to say: have you considered mushrooms? The question they ask. Again, here on delish.com, checking out this article. They say there's a hearty texture, absorbent quality of mushrooms. They imitate the meatiness we crave sometimes so much. In 2022, we expect to see an uptick in recipes that call on mushrooms to replace meats.
Jimmy could probably attest. I think the first and many places that had a vegetarian sandwich was just like a grilled portobello mushroom. And that seemed to be like the thing for a long time. So, yeah, I mean, I love mushrooms, so I'm totally on board for this trend. But when you cook them, yeah, you get that sense of, I don't know if it's meat, but I could be very, very satisfied if I made like a patty of mushrooms and then grilled it and ate that on a sandwich. That sounds wonderful.
I agree with you. I love mushrooms. Ben is making some faces now, which is kind of funny because he doesn't like mushrooms.
Andy Michelson loves mushrooms.
Yeah.
Really?
Mushrooms
Oh,
are
yeah, he loves them.
they're great. They're great. And I totally
Stay away.
am down with Chef. Let's make some mushroom burger patties.
Like a bolognese, like spaghetti sauce with ground mushrooms instead of beef. That
Fantastic.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Just light it up, guys. Sounds great. No, I'll be passing on that one. The next one on the list is something we actually did dive into, is bottled cocktails. You know, once the legalities went through with the states and the counties and everything else, bottling cocktails and selling them that way.
Bottled cocktails are cool. We obviously got the licensing to do this. I think the liquor companies got smart and started canning and bottling their own, which has been happening for a few years now. They have not taken off like I would have liked to seen, because some of them are really, really good, but there's also some that are really bad. So I don't know if you're ordering food from McWethy's Tavern. I don't feel like it's the same experience getting a bottled cocktail as opposed to getting that cocktail in a martini glass or a flute or whatever it's being served in, within the restaurant by your server. I don't know. I'm indifferent about this one.
To me, I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but to like a kitchen relatable thing for me is like canned soup. Like canned soup is never as good as homemade soup. Still fine, but it just doesn't have that, that thing you're looking for in a restaurant. Like I just don't like, it's like, and then just pouring it into a glass. Like there's no like shaking. You can't control the amounts. I mean, we have great bartenders in the tavern who can, a little of this, a little of that, and like play with the recipes a little bit. And it's like, I mean, that's important. Whereas you're just dumping out a thing on some ice. It's not the same.
I'm not sure how we do on martinis in the tavern or if we sell a lot of them, but what about espresso martinis?
We do really well. Chocolate martinis, espresso martinis, we do fairly well. Martinis in general, if we have a feature of some sort on a weekend or whatever special occasion, we seem to sell those as opposed to our guests coming in and, getting a Cosmo or getting a martini, something that you can get anywhere. I think our guest really understands that we do really neat things. And again, not being biased, but I think we do as well. And our guest looks for that. So when there is a feature, when there's a cocktail feature, a martini feature, I think the guest is more inclined to get it because it's something that's not of the norm. And the server gets excited selling it, which in turn gets the guest to buy it.
Final one here is a controversial one. And we get asked multiple times a year. People ask about it, want it. Doggies welcome at restaurants.
I don't know if this is controversial for us, but it could be for a lot of places. I mean, that's the world we're living in, right? People have dogs that keep them company and help for anxiety and help for, mental disorders or whatever they have their pet for, if it is medical. I don't know what to say about this one.
Well, then you have other people that just want to put their dog in their purse and bring them around everywhere they go. But our policy here is, we're a golf course too, so we don't allow dogs. And we all love dogs. All of us love dogs here at Mistwood and in this studio that we're in. But it's just one of those things where I think a lot of people are fine with it. A lot of people are comfortable, patio seating, it should happen, whatever. But there's people that are either allergic or they're not comfortable, and we don't want awkward situations, I think is what it comes down to.
I agree, and that's why I think we tend to just stay the road, right? Because it's out of every 10 guests, if one's bringing a dog, we can't appease 1 out of 10 guests. We have to try and do our best to appease all 10 guests, but we know we can't do that all the time. So, yeah, I think our stance is we want everybody to enjoy their experience. And their experience should be you're coming to enjoy a meal with your family, with your friends. And that's that.
And if chef can't bring his dog into the kitchen, then
Yeah, it's not fair.
it's not fair. So he wouldn't want to come out of the kitchen and see your dog, is
Right.
what make him sad.
Are we talking indoors or outdoor dogs?
I think it's
Just in
mostly
general.
patio in general.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. I think allergies would be my main negative feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, we can control everything in a certain standpoint except like pet dander flying around.
That's a good point. It's a very good point.
I mean, no one wants dog hair in their food.
It's true.
Nobody wants any hair in their food, but specifically dog hair. Yes.
I was testing you. Nice job.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for taking
You
part
did it.
in the 2022 list of things to look out for. Thanks to our friends at Delish.com for putting together those ideas. We love talking about it. Now, final thing we'll do, just to wrap up this episode, is what are you guys looking forward to in the next month, kind of taking us into middle of the March and St. Patrick's Day?
Tavern always has great energy for St. Patrick's Day. Scottish McWethy's name is sort of synonymous with Irish sort of descent, which, lucky for us, everybody likes coming here for corned beef and cabbage. And I'm Irish, and we make a darn good corned beef and cabbage here, so looking forward to selling a lot of corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, anything special other than that on the menu, or are you just going hard with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like not doing turkey on Thanksgiving. We eat corned beef and cabbage on St. Patrick's Day. We'll make a lot of it, and we'll make it really good.
We're not doing green beer.
We're not doing green beer.
Makes a mess.
It makes an absolute mess. I think there's bartenders in the world that still have nightmares over having to put dye in every single beer that they serve.
What a strange tradition.
Right. Where has it come from, I guess?
I don't know. It had to have started in Chicago. Come on, Ben. You got
Just
the laptop there.
the
Can't you
desire
Google
to drink
something?
green beer.
Where did green beer originate
where
from?
did it originate from? Was some Irishman in Ireland literally was like, hey, what if we just make this green today?
According to Google machine, generally the drink is credited to Professor Thomas H. Curtin, a physician who made green beer for his clubhouse in New York. Curtin's green beer was around as early as 1914, but other green beers appeared at the same time or slightly earlier.
Been around for a while.
Yeah.
And it was in New York. It wasn't even in Ireland or
Millville.
anything else.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a Hallmark holiday,
Hey,
but for beer.
and we'll look forward to it. We'll look forward to St. Patrick's Day. If you want to go home, stir up some green beer, enjoy the heck out of it. And I hope you listen next time, because I had fun this time, and I feel like we're getting better.
Yes. Much more comfortable in this chair.
I agree. I very much so agree.
Good, because before Chef was like white knuckles and sweating under his
Yeah,
eyes,
It was
and
ugly.
Yeah.
he's feeling better, looking better.
Much better. Very hydrated today.
All right,
Good.
we'll see everyone next time. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
I love you.
They got one of the best restaurants.
Wanted to get your hands dirty and see the whole process.
Wait, is this Taste of the Tavern?